What happens when intimacy stops being performative and starts being embodied? Our guest today, Eden, is a relationship and intimacy coach, a Tantra facilitator, and the visionary behind Temple of Eden and Tantra Philly. She's creating spaces where femmes and couples reclaim pleasure, presence, and authentic connection. And we're so excited that she's here today. I'm Dr. Willow Brown. I'm here with my co-host, Leah Piper. We are Sex Reimagined, and we are so grateful for your incredible likes, shares, and subscribes. Keep them coming because that really helps us get the message out to more people in the world.
So tune in, turn on, and fall in love with Eden.
Welcome to the Sex Reimagined podcast, where sex is shame-free and pleasure-forward. Let's get into the show.
Welcome to the show, Eden.
Thank you. Thanks so much for having me.
So excited that you're here. I'm so curious, Eden, how we all met at a Tantra festival in North Carolina last year.
Yeah.
And it was such a wild and super fun Tantra festival. It was just really powerful. Eden was one of the facilitators there. We were facilitating as well. But I'm curious, like, how long you've been on the path, Eden, and what got you on the path? Like, what's your whole genesis story?
Sure. So I guess the long story short is in all of my 20s, I ran my own business that I started from scratch. It was an all-natural cleaning business. I scaled it from like $10 to dozens of employees through all of my 20s. And then when I reached about like 30, I realized that I was burnout and really disconnected from my body and really disconnected from my pleasure and myself. I pretty much lost myself in this sense of burnout and hustle culture. And so I had decided to sell the business and took a year off to really like just regulate and dive deep on somatic healing and nervous system regulation. And I've always been a very spiritual person. I'd been reading tarot cards since I was a kid and like doing all sorts of witchy things. And so when I was introduced to Tantra about a few years ago, it really just clicked as if I had just known it already and it made perfect sense. And so over the last few years since selling the business, I have been teaching and facilitating nervous system regulation and Tantra full-time with events and mentorships specifically catered for women, mothers, femmes, and sometimes couples and cis men to help them on the path of embodiment and joy and presence.
And you do this in Philadelphia, right? You've got a place there.
So I'm
Tantra
based
Philly.
in Philly. Yeah, Tantra Philly is our venue. That's where we host workshops and events and temple parties, as well as where we book our clients. But I'm also very active in DC and New York. I'll be in New York this weekend teaching Tantra at the Top Floor Club in New York City, and then next weekend in DC. And so I've sort of kind of go city to city teaching and facilitating and meeting clients. But my home base, yes, is at Tantra Philly in Philadelphia.
I'm so curious, like, what kind of women are finding you and are coming through your door. I'm imagining there's quite a wide range and a full scale of women who are like, I don't even know what I'm doing here. I'm totally nervous. I'm totally scared to like, I'm ready. Let's do some pussy massage.
Totally. It's the full spectrum. It's women in their, I would say it's women, but from like mid-20s to 60s. We typically like to keep it 21 and over, ideally 25 and over. But as women as old as in their 60s, lots of mothers, women who are just starting their journey on this path of reconnecting with themselves, or they're a little bit later on. Maybe they're experienced in Tantra and temple parties, or play parties or kink events, but they really want something that's a little more intentional, femme-focused, and we also make it all sober. So there's no substances like alcohol, and it's edgy for people, because then they have to really drop in with themselves without the support of like alcohol or substances. So I think that's what makes it really different and very like deep, but also so invigorating in that way.
I love that you're doing it, substance free, because I think all the medicine we need is in our bodies, and it's through sexuality that we really can experience these sort of altered states. So it's so
For
powerful
sure.
to experience the altered state coming from inside of yourself.
Yeah, like the natural high of life, of joy and pleasure, like breath work. I teach people that the medicine is inside of us. I'm just sort of the guide, the facilitator, or the community connector that brings all of these talented teachers together, or guides together, and then we can all just learn and promote each other, or not promote, but support each other in like this
Right.
really powerful sisterhood of just all
Mm,
helping each other.
I love that. It's so powerful.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit more about the Temple of Eden.
Sure. So the Temple of Eden is an ongoing, recurring all women's temple events. So if anyone who doesn't know what a temple is, it's similar to a play party. Play parties are typically where people go and like connect, and maybe their sexuality welcome or their kink welcome. At temple parties, we started off a lot differently, where we start with connection games and Tantra practices and rotating authentic relating games for people to really get to know each other, to get to connect on a deeper level. That's not the point isn't sexuality. The point for temples is connection, and for these ones it's sisterhood, it's support, it's growth, it's embodiment, it's like divine feminine, like juicy, like just to see all the women, just to witness them all in one place, just massaging each other and cuddling each other and laughing. It's like heaven.
Oh, that's so sweet. How did you come to creating the Temple of Eden journeys for people? Like, what really awakened and enlivened in your sexuality that you were like, this is my calling. I need to create this.
It's so funny because there was literally a moment where I went to my partner and I was like, this is my calling and I just need you to or one of them. It started with me throwing femme like play parties with some girlfriends. There was like 6 of us, and we were like, let's just dress up in lingerie and have boudoir photo shoots and hype each other up, and then have snacks, like a big girl sleepover, but like
Mm-hmm.
let's just be cute and love on each other. Um, and then I had one in September for my birthday. I had a big party with some friends to celebrate a bunch of other women in the community's birthday. And I was like, so from 1 a.m. to 3 a.m., we're going to have a femme temple party upstairs. And some of these women had never been to anything like that before. It was lightly facilitated, where we did connection games and all of the things that I've learned at other temple parties. And I basically took what I liked at those temple parties and what I didn't like and catered it to women for women. But this also includes trans women, non-binary women, or anybody who wants to identifies as a woman and deeply in their femininity. And then after the birthday event, just so many women came to me and was like, I've never done anything like this. Please, can you do more of this? And so we just started hosting them regularly, like every 4 weeks. We had a few in DC, we've had a few in Philly, and now we're having a full day women's retreat in a mansion in Rockville, Maryland at the end of the month, which we're really excited about.
Cool.
So when you say femme, for people who may not be familiar with that term, how would you describe what femme means when you have femme events?
So
I mean,
femme,
obviously it's short for feminine.
yeah, totally. It's short for feminine. I think that for the younger generation or folks more my age, there's a little bit less of a binary when it comes to gender and gender identity. Like, it's not just man and woman. Some people see it as a spectrum. Maybe some women are in transition from like stepping into their path as transgender women. We want it to be inclusive. That is one of the pillars of our community, is welcoming all women as if they were old friends, as if they were sisters. And so using femme is sort of like a umbrella term for anybody who identifies as female, without not necessarily excluding anyone that maybe wasn't born female, if that makes sense.
Mhm.
What if that includes like maybe someone who's queer, who's not really necessarily identifying as a binary, but they are a penis owner and they just are coming in because they want to explore their femininity, or maybe they're even heterosexual man, but he wants to explore his femininity. Would they be welcome at a femme event?
So not in the Temple of Eden, but we do have all genders temple parties, also at Tantra Philly, which is inclusive for everybody on the spectrum, for couples, for, heterosexual, homosexual. Temple of Eden is specifically, I describe it as if we were in Eden. And I love to give the story of Lilith. This is sort of a side note, but Lilith was Adam's wife before Eve. She was cast out of the Garden of Eden. So I usually open my temples by saying that Temple of Eden is a place for the Liliths, for the women to start their own sort of bubble, like paradise for just us to be together. And then our all genders temple parties, we call it Sacred Union. So uniting all of the genders. And that's what those temple parties are specifically for.
Sweet.
And what kind of transformation have women experienced at these events?
Oh, that's a great question. I think that, lately I realized that I'm trying to stray away from like promising a transformation, right? Because I kind of want everybody to come in without an agenda or without expectations, but transformations do happen and we are happy to hold space and facilitate them. I would say most of those transformations come from the feeling of being like dropping your armor and just fully exhaling. So many women are curious about Tantra. They're curious about sexuality, of tapping back into their pleasure, but maybe they feel resistance. Most of the time they've told me they feel resistance because it feels performative if the male gaze is present, or if they don't trust the container, or they don't know who's going to be there. And so when you have all femme events, it's almost like they describe our events, my friends, as an on-ramp to Tantra and sacred sexuality. It's a place for you to experience workshops and connection games and sisterhood that you otherwise wouldn't know. For like every woman is a mirror reflecting back to you just like how like powerful and beautiful you are. And so even if you just walk away feeling more present, like more calm, more regulated, more connected to yourself and to others, and it doesn't need to just be like gay women or queer women. Plenty of heterosexual straight women come into these spaces and are still utterly in awe and transformed of the connections and learnings that they get from the container.
And I imagine there's like a whole talk around consent, right? And you only go like as far as you want to go, and you don't even have to take your clothes off. I just had this same conversation with a couple, and it's so like, I feel like Tantra can be so vast, right? In the possibility and the education and the experience that people can have. And so I imagine that, there are some women who come into the Temple of Eden and, they walk out with like fully liberated and in their, sexual power, where other women might be like, wow, I just had a huge healing and a huge release of like this construct or this idea that I thought sexuality was. And now I have this new opening in my mind and my heart of what it could be. And then over time, like repeating and coming to multiple temples that they could, that they can really grow quite rapidly.
Exactly. And Tantra is just like a path. It's just a modality. It's just another way. I describe it as just slowing down and like foreplay with the universe, where anything can be tantric. The way that you eat slowly, the way that you walk. It's really just the art of like savoring the moments and savoring yourself. And that's part of the connection games. And as you said, we do have really deep consent talks. We have a whole list of temple agreements that everyone has to agree to. This is a vetted event, so not anyone can come. You have to submit an application, tell us why you'd be a good fit, and also agree to all of the agreements such as confidentiality, consent, privacy, lean in and lean out as much as you want. Everything is optional. It's a choose your own adventure experience. And so you can really make it your own and take what you want from it.
It's funny because I'm kind of chuckling to myself, Willow, because you went straight for assuming people are getting naked and being sexual. And I was stuck on connection. Like, Like, wow, you just think they're just jumping in the deep end so fast. And I'm thinking, well, are they? Are people being sexual? Are they? I mean, obviously, it sounds like people at your birthday were in lingerie. Where is the sexuality space, or is it more just about intimacy? Like, paint us a little picture on like the range of discovery that's happening inside these events.
Sure. So, um,
And by the way, Willow, I do love that you went straight to the deep end. It's just, it's fun.
Let's dive in, everyone. Just
I'm
take your
over here in
clothes
the
off. It'll be
shade, and you're
fine.
already in the deep end. I think it's very.
Yeah, and so this could be an example of the full spectrum
Right.
experience, right? So we always start the events with like Tantra sweet connection games. So
Yeah,
I'll give you an
before you move on from, okay, good. You're going to give us an example, because that was going to be one of my other questions. It's like, well, what's a connection game?
So I'll give you an example. So the Temple of Eden Retreat, we rented this beautiful mansion with floor to ceiling windows, sunlight pouring in. And then we're starting the day with a puja. If you guys know what a puja is, it's a tantric, ritualistic ceremony in a way where there's an inner circle and they're facing outward, and then an outer circle and they're facing in. And then we give them prompts to share with the person in front of them, and then you rotate. And so those prompts could be something like, what do you love about yourself? That's one of my favorite ones, is what do you love about yourself? And then the other person just says, thank you. What do you love about yourself? Thank you. What do you love about yourself? And just really getting people like excited and sharing and getting to know each other. So that's one example. My partner Ross and I do a sacred masculine and feminine puja that we teach at festivals for all genders people, but will also be like embody fear, embody joy. And then they just have to, sometimes even silently without words, just really drop in with eye contact and presence with the person in front of them. What I teach too with the nervous system regulation is turning your mind off, the thinking mind, and just getting really dropped into your soma, your body. What is the energy, the sense that you're feeling, and how can you lean in and lean out of that at your own discretion? Some other games that we're doing at the retreat, we're doing a Kundalini embodiment dance that one of our facilitators is teaching. It's essentially a solo dance or a partner dance that activates your Kundalini or your feminine energy. We're doing a somatic Shibari workshop. And then we're bringing them together for one of my favorite connection games is what I call the Goddess Trio workshop, where they get into groups of 3. One woman lies in the center. They talk about their boundaries, maybe what they're working on, maybe what they want to be told that makes them feel really good. How do they want to be touched? And then for a few minutes, the other 2 women just like praise them, massage them, anoint them with oils, and just really remind each other of the goddesses that they are. And then they rotate and take turns. So that's some of the connection games that we're offering at the retreat. Then we have a luscious dinner, ecstatic dance, and then a free flow temple party throughout the space.
Fun. I want to come. That sounds super fun. We just did a retreat in Greece. We just did Awakening the Goddess. And so we had, similar kind of like connection practices and rituals and getting into it. And one of the things that was so cool about being on Crete, specifically on that island and also in the country of Greece, was just feeling the energy of the goddess so alive on the land, and how that like way back in the day, that's how women learned about their sexuality, was from other women. It wasn't like, let me watch some porn or get together with this guy who doesn't know what he's doing and see if I can figure out sexuality that way. I mean, there's just such a freeing, especially when there's no pressure or masculine gaze, as you say, like there's just such a freedom and such a beautiful like joyfulness and softness. I feel like women really get to experience their essence in a way that they haven't before, or in a way that's not really accessible in the masculine paradigm that we're living in. And so what a gift that you're offering to the women of the world. And, especially in that area of the country, I love that this is happening, because, I'm a Cali girl. So this has, been happening in Cali for a long time. And it's just great to see the wave, spreading around the world, really.
For sure.
And I think too, like it's so different, at least something that's always been highlighted in our work with women is you're right. Like there's a big difference in the space when, it's an all femme event or it's an all men's event. Men are going to say things that they want to say or need to say differently when there aren't women in the room, when it's just with
Yeah.
men. And the same thing is totally true when it's a group of women. We have permission to say things and share about ourselves that we may hold back if there are men in the room. And also in the practices, when you've got women, especially touch practices, and then intimate touch practices, there's a distinct difference energetically. The hands feel different and the agenda is completely different. And there isn't performance is out of the equation. And even if your sexual preference happens to be women, the touch is different. There's the agenda, there's something that's unmistakable. I think for my system, it's like there's no pressure. There's no performance. I don't have to be impressive. There's no one to impress. I really trust intrinsically that they don't need or want anything from me other than me going as deep as I can go for me, not for them. So it's almost like there's a less ego involved on both sides of the equation, whether you're being a giver or a receiver.
Yeah.
Well, I guess what I'd love to ask the two of you is, is that true, Eden? Does that resonate? My description? Are you experiencing that in these groups, or is this just my own unique experience?
No, absolutely. I think that you were like hit the nail on the head. In fact, so many women come when they submit an application. A lot of them are like, I'm in a marriage with a man, and I'm just like, I want something that's just for me. I want something where I can really drop in with myself without any pressure. Like, not that her husband is pressuring her, that's not what I'm saying, but she can show up into the space. Yeah, it's just different. And it's like when you're in a space with your partner, we often at a time will check in with them. Are they okay? Do they need me? Is this okay?
Right.
And then outside of the temple, one of the agreements is make sure your relationship agreements outside of the temple are upheld in the temple. So we strongly encourage women to have these conversations with their partners prior to entering. And if they feel any interest in negotiating those, to like save that for a future temple, because this is the space for you to explore. And it is solely for you. But we do also just encourage them to like uphold their relationships outside of the container. But it is a place for them to explore themselves simply for themselves, putting down their armor, no expectations. It's like a deep exhale of a bunch of goddesses just being there.
Do you offer like post support coaching, like guidance,
We
especially
do.
if they are in a relationship and they're like, now this thing blew up in my relationship. Help.
So yes, I am a relationship and intimacy coach, as well as my amazing co-facilitator, Leora Ward. She was at my birthday play party, and I came to her and was like, Leora, we have to make this a thing, because she's an incredible facilitator and teacher and a mom and like a shibari teacher. She's a badass pleasure coach too. So her and I hold it down. We're like, we have it locked in. So both of us are available for support. Also during the event, we also have counselors available throughout as support. So if somebody's having a somatic release for this retreat specifically, we have hired a few support people so that her and I can stay in our roles as facilitator. But then if somebody does have a somatic release or just needs someone to talk to, we welcome all of that. We welcome your process. We welcome all parts of you, your softness, your strength, your full spectrum feminine, whatever that looks like. And then we have support available during the event and then also after the event.
Meltdowns are welcome. I think too, like...
And orgasmic breakthroughs are welcome too.
Or preference for the orgasmic breakthroughs for sure. but all of it's totally welcome.
in my work, one of the things that kept on repeating itself, and we would do these weekend seminars, and in the afternoon on Saturday and Sunday, we'd separate the men and the women, so we could have those moments of conversation where people could talk freely because their partner wasn't in the room if they came together, and most of the people coming were heterosexual. And it was really interesting, the things that got shared, right? Like the really deep things that happen. And a lot of times the next step that many of the women in that room would take after that program is they would go to an all women's event. It was like they were guided and knew there was some sort of inner voice that said, I've got a piece of work that I need to pursue, but it has to be at the hands of another woman.
Yeah.
It's not gonna be my partner, and I'm not ready for, like, a DACA, which would be, a male practitioner of the tantric arts. I really
Yeah.
either need to work privately with the Dakini or, go to, like, an all-women's retreat or come to an event like yours, Eden, the Temple of Eden, to be able like, it has to be first approached through the hands of the feminine
Yeah.
before like there's some sort of thing that needs to be unveiled, that needs to be shedded, that needs to be dissolved before her next healing opportunity, which may be with her partner or at the hands of the masculine. But the
Yeah.
healing starts with women. I can't tell you how many times I've watched that over and over and over again. Is even people coming into the teacher training, it was like, no, I first got started going to a women's group. And that's been their introduction because that's where they felt safe to start really diving into their vulnerability.
Yeah, I agree. I think there's so many women who want to explore these facets, the Tantra, but then they have, like I said, the resistance to the male gaze, or so many women have in their life felt some sort of harm or intentional or not by the masculine. And then these spaces of all women are just extremely healing as just a place to be held and seen and embraced and comfortable, to really, like you said, start shedding those layers, those patterns, and to just like totally be yourself.
I'm
Mhm.
curious, Eden, like what's your vetting process? How much do these cost? Do you have sliding scale for people? Do you
Mhm.
ever have like, for people who are struggling financially, do you have offers for them? And
Mhm.
also I'm curious, like, how many people generally come to a Temple of Eden event? How long do they last? And also, like, how many people are there? I think I already asked that
That's
question.
a lot of
Sure.
yeah, a lot of
That was
questions.
a lot of
One,
questions.
explain it all to me.
Sure. So the vetting process is a brief Google form. It's linked in the bio of my Instagram at Embodied with Eden. We can also drop it, I'm sure, in the podcast notes. And it's just a questionnaire with your name and your ID to verify your age. Tell us a little bit about you. Why do you think you want to come? What about the description draws you to the event? Were you referred by somebody already in the community? Which is great because then they're telling their friends and telling their friends. And that's how we've grown so much, is because these women are like, I've never been to anything like this. This is so amazing. And so that's the vetting process. It's very easy. You just submit a form. It maybe takes 5 minutes. And then if I have any clarifying questions, I'll follow up. The Temple of Eden retreat, the full day retreat from 12 p.m. to 9, maybe 10 p.m., including all day workshops, ecstatic dance, dinner, and a play party, started at $150 early bird, and now the later tickets are $190. We have 60 tickets available. We have 12 left. Our smaller Temple of Eden events are typically 8 p.m. until like 12 or 1 a.m. What's also special about these events is you have to come at the beginning before doors close to make it for the introductions and the consent talks, and it's like a closed container. You can leave at any time. You're not obligated to stay. Listen to your body. That's really what we teach, is to lean into your yes and your no. To learn how to feel what fuck yes, sorry, I don't know if I can curse, heck yes,
Yeah, of
feels
course.
like in your body. And what no feels like in your body. And so you can lean in and lean out as much as you want. So those events, the smaller ones outside of this day retreat, are typically $50 to $70, depending on the venue, the location. And those include foods, snacks. We typically we host in our venue in Philly. which has a separate playroom upstairs. So it's like the common space is what we call pink space in Tantra. That means your underwear stays on, but you're encouraged to cuddle, massage, be cute, be girls being girls. That's as my friends call it. And then upstairs is the play space. Your other question was, is there sliding scale? Yes, there is. We do have an application for that. Anyone who's interested in sliding scale is welcome to DM me. We also, in place of sliding scale, we offer free to half price tickets for those who are willing to volunteer during or before the event, anywhere from 3 to 6 hours. And those volunteer duties can look like ticket check-in, just like giving out roses, setting up the food, just being part of curating the experience. We don't ask to like space holding of volunteers. Those are like
They're
licensed
volunteers.
Yeah, the volunteers help support, and then with their hours, they are welcome to have half price to free tickets, depending on what they
I like
want.
the structure and the setup. You guys have really done a good job, like thinking this out, you know, and,
Thank you.
and spreading it to different cities. It's really inspiring.
Thank you.
I had a question. Oh yeah, what's the difference between like your play party and like another play party or sex party that someone may find? Let's say on FetLife or, you know, on maybe even other Tantra event.
So that's a great question. I have spent all year going to so many play parties. They're so fun. I'm teaching at a play party in New York this weekend. Top floor. It's amazing. Highly recommend. Leora, Ward, and I are teaching there, as well as my partner Ross, who works with men. So if any men are listening and they want to get into like men's Tantra, Ross Lewin is the guy. He's like our masculine equivalent to the Temple of Eden. And the difference with us versus those play parties is I love those. Those play parties, typically you can come at any time. You kind of just show up and then you're free to roam. And for me, when I've been to play parties in Philly, my partner Arun and I went and we were like, we didn't really know how to connect with people without like our connection games. We were kind of like, I guess we just go stand by the food table and try to make small talk, like your outfit, like, you know. So
Can I join you? Can I touch your butt?
Yeah, right. And so it's ours it's not like a fully facilitated. We start it facilitated, and the intention is to build community, is to build friendships, is to get to know each other, feel into each other's energies, our yeses and our nos. And then they have like free time to explore from that point on. And I think that's what makes it really different from play parties. The other big difference is no substances, no alcohol, no drugs are welcome in the temple, because when you have those altered states, it muddies the waters of consent and you're feeling your body, your yes and your no. We're calling this retreat Midwinter Movement and Medicine. So that is using your body, somatic healing, music like ecstatic dance, and using that as the medicine that you can cultivate within yourself and then share with the women around you.
I'm curious, what's the percentage of the group that leaves the pink room and ascends upstairs and starts doing more of like the real sexual intimacy versus just the emotional intimacy or energetic intimacy?
Sure. So one of our agreements of the temple is confidentiality, and that means we can't talk about anyone's experience except our own. So I'm not going to name names or any identifying information, just so that anyone's listening. So we make the joke during our agreements is like, if you see somebody in the temple at the grocery store, don't be like, oh my God, Susan, it was so nice watching you get spanked yesterday. And like their kids are there, you know what I mean? So like, we don't do that. But it really depends on the event. It's been the full spectrum. Some Temple of Edens are just very sweet and sensual. One of them that we had here in Philly, I was like, okay, guys, 30-minute warning. And 9 women bolted up the stairs to the playroom. And I was like, good job, guys.
They're like, it's now or never. Better go.
Yeah. So, and then in the playroom, we did set up like toys and like safe sex supplies, whatever they need. They're in their power to lean in or lean out as much as they want. Some people don't go in the playroom at all. There's some women who have gone to our temples who simply just want to witness. So I had a woman say to me one time, which I shared in another podcast, she's like, I was in the military for 20 years and I like to think that I fought for our freedom for us to have spaces like this to exist.
And
she's
what
like,
a nice compliment.
She's like, I just like to I am enamored and in awe of our freedom that our previous generations didn't get, that our foremothers didn't get to experience. And we're sort of pioneers of pleasure is what I like to call it.
Pioneers of pleasure.
That's
very
I love
cute.
it. That's very
love that.
cute. So
Yeah,
what's your vision for the future when it comes to the Temple of Eden? What are you dreaming out wake?
That's a great question. So we're starting a membership where if you're part of the WhatsApp community, you get invites or discounts to other local events, Tantra events, mentorship or coaching calls, the first invites and early birds to other similar femme-centered or Tantra or sacred sexuality containers within the Temple of Eden membership. And with that, we are also partnering with another society I'm creating with my partner called Sacred Society. It's our all genders global network of Tantra sacred sexualities practitioners and connoisseurs. So basically an online network of folks to connect and to attend events like these all over the world. My vision for this is to grow it as like full weekend immersions. This mansion venue we have has a beautiful pool. The owner's like, come in the spring and have a pool party. And I was like, oh, what a dream. Yes. So doing them all over the world, all over the country.
Now, does your venue, the Temple of Eden venue, maybe not the mansion, do you rent that out to other practitioners or to other teachers who are coming in locally to teach classes?
The one in Philly, we haven't. To be honest, Tantra in Philly is very new. So it's huge in DC, it's huge in New York, but my partner and I, Ross, have really, in my opinion, anchored it in here in Philadelphia, and we're expanding the community. So there isn't a lot of Tantra events going on. There is something in Philly called the One Love Hub. My amazing friend Alana Stern runs it. And that's a WhatsApp group, too, of Tantra affiliated events. And that's only been around for a year. We're growing it, and it's growing quickly. We have our Sacred Union All Genders Temple February 28th on Saturday in Philly, the 28th. We're already vetting for that. That's also available on tantraphilly.com. And the venue in DC is my incredible friend Zen Steady's space called Temple Mystic. They do, I'm not sure about this year, but in the past he was renting it out, or not renting, but hosting community gatherings for different people, just bringing communities together in the space. I'm not sure what his plans are for the new year, but as of now, we do have different venues in DC that we're working with, as well as our hub at Tantra Philly, which is tantraphilly.com.
I'm so excited for you. And as I'm listening to him, like, who I need to hook you up with is Eve. Eve has an incredible home venue.
Oh, that's a great idea.
In North Carolina, in Charlotte.
Eve and Eden, you guys need to get together.
What a synchronistic name.
I know.
Yeah, exactly.
I know.
Eve and Eden, totally.
Yeah, she would love to host you.
Yeah, she would.
And she's really affordable.
She's
She's
great.
so
Amazing.
generous. Yeah, she's amazing.
And
She's got a pool.
she's an incredible
great place for a summer
practitioner.
event.
Yeah.
Please do. We would love that. We're just like, these women love this and need it. And we just want to bring so many women into it as possible. And there's sliding scale options, volunteer options. We're making, one of the pillars is accessibility and
You're
inclusivity.
really making it accessible. I love that.
And I'm curious, who isn't right for this event?
That's a good question.
I was gonna make a joke and say like people like my parents, but like,
Except they probably needed the most.
Right.
exactly.
Yeah.
That's funny.
It's a tough question. I don't want to say it's for everybody. I would say it's people that don't have any judgments, who don't have any agendas, who don't.
People who can stay in curiosity, right?
It's
And, like,
that's what we say when they're like, what do I bring? And I say, bring a water bottle, a
And
journal, a curious heart, and an open mind.
yeah.
And so
Yeah.
it'd be a lot easier for me to list who should come versus who shouldn't. Like it often when women read it, it's like they're either curious or they're like full body, heck yeah. And so it's growing organically on its own. Like we sold over half of the tickets without any promo, just from word of mouth, from women telling their friends. And that's really what we want to do, is to cultivate this sense of sisterhood and community. In Sacred Society, for example, the all genders, you're invited in if you know somebody already in, and then they sort of sponsor and vouch for you to join the all genders temple, because we want to almost make Tantra temple party culture, consent culture, respect, inclusivity, no expectations, no agenda, like a culture of play where we can all like relax into the experience without needing to put our guards up or anything, and just really learn about ourselves and learn from each other.
And how long have you been running the Sacred Society, the all genders one?
So that's launching this year. We just finished building the framework and the community guidelines, which we're really proud of. And our first all genders event is in February, but it's come from the demand of women in Temple of Eden who are like, do you have anything for me and my yeah, where can I bring my guy friends? And so yeah, that's what Sacred Society is for, is like Temple of Eden is for the femmes, for the women's, for the girl power, the goddess loving, and then the Sacred Society is for everyone.
Love that.
Nice. Well, congratulations, Eden. So excited
you.
for what you're creating. Yay, Philly.
Yeah.
Really excited for the great state of Pennsylvania and everything that surrounds it. Thanks for being on the show.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, we look forward to continued paths crossing.
Yeah,
As I'm
maybe
sure
we'll
we'll meet up
show
at
up
more
at one of these
festivals.
temple
Yeah.
parties soon.
That would be amazing. I'd love to have you.
Okay, friends, the show's not over. Please stay tuned for the dish. It's up next.
Now, our favorite part, the dish.
Temple of Eden. Eden,
what
a
a
lovely
cute,
little lady. She's
sweet.
adorable. I'm
I
really
love what
excited
she's
for
up
her.
to. I love what she's doing. Yeah. Really powerful, really fun. What a great idea. And, just coming from such deep ancient wisdom. And I can really feel that, her relationship with her co-facilitator is like similar to what we have, just like really just like full lift each other up and totally adore and love. And, it's just so nice to have a co-facilitator with these kinds of things, because otherwise you just feel like you're doing everything on your own. And, and I also really appreciate that she's like, yeah, you can get a half price ticket or sometimes for free if you volunteer. So it sounds like they've got a few layers of support. They've got their people who are there if there's if something happens or there's a trauma moment that needs to be held or cleared or supported. And then they've got, people handing out roses and ticketing things. So it's like, that sounds so nice. I want to have that many layers of support at our events.
I think it's also really sweet that, I think as adult women, we can get so tight and we forget to play, and our sexuality sometimes gets lost in the mix of trying to be everything to everyone, or just even like lack of access sometimes to our sexual selves and being sexual with others, or just like straight up intimacy of being able to like swim in the deep end of like your own personal soul and have that be held and witnessed in sisterhood. So I think it's a great place for women to learn how to play and to go deeper within themselves and to witness others doing the same thing. I think there's a great scarcity and opportunity for a lot of us out there. So
Yeah.
she's doing a great service for the world.
Yes, it's so exciting.
Yeah. So we will have links to all of these wonderful things that Eden is putting out in the DC, New York, and Philly area. We encourage you to check it out.
Sending you all tons of love and light. Ciao.
Love, love. Bye-bye.
Thanks for tuning in. This episode was hosted by Tantric Sex Master Coach and Positive Psychology Facilitator Leah Piper, as well as by Chinese and Functional Medicine Doctor and Taoist Sexology Teacher Dr. Willow Brown. Don't forget, your comments, likes, subscribes, and suggestions matter. Let's realize this new world together.